Well, good evening. There were some records set today at Warwick Farm. Um, First of all, the track was dead, the rail was normal, the wind was out of the southeast. It's quite cold, cool in Sydney, in Steak and Kidney today, and the wind, I suppose, could have had a small effect on some of the leaders. Most certainly, the inside um, after every race became more chopped up, and the inside was no good, as was easily seen in the last race, where the winner and the second horse came from last and second last to fight it out on the line. And other races, if you're able to have a look at them, you can see that the inside wasn't the place to be. Now, the records that were set there today, I can't remember myself. There might be some other captains who might remember. But every race today, the bookies gave bad, very, very bad losing figures. The game is completely on course, gone to goings. Unless you've got the steam tugs betting with you, as the corporates and the TAB have, the on course is a complete waste of time. Or if you've got steam tugs betting with you on the phone, there's just the on course. There is not a dime. It is fly blown. The first race, bookies gave 83%. The second race, 96. The third, 92. The fourth, 95. The fifth, it was fat, 99. Race 6, 91. Race 7, 92. And just to make a bird of it, in the last, 95. 95. It was absolutely legless. The first race, how's this for a set? Number 1, Soapy Star, went up $8, got out to 12, back into, well, started $12. Benedictus, it didn't have a price, Benedictus. It went from $3.50 to $6. Magondo, it went from $9 to $11. Now the winner, Golden Sunshine, you think you're doing well getting the $4 best luck? No, it was $4.40 at the track. It went up 6 to 4. You're 6 to 4 the field, Golden Sunshine. It got out to $4.40, plenty of $4.20. Started $3.50, and starting favourite, they only returned at 5 to 4. I was 6 to 4 when they jumped. Couldn't write $15 to 10 about it. They were talking about Cuchamama. It went up $3.30, got to $3.50. It was into $2.40 at one stage, back out, as I say, to $2.50 on my board. When they jumped, returned $2.25. It led Golden Sunshine with the favourite on the south side. Golden Sunshine was able to hold on. The horse Golden Sunshine finished close to the Cuchamama finished close to the fence, hanging in under pressure in the straight, but it was a poor effort. And the runner that was affected was Soapy Star. It had barrier 1, tried to rail on the turn, which wasn't the place to be. The next race, on the screen in the first race, there was only 96.3 on the screen, and as I say, we gave 83. The second race, on the screen, 101.1, in the marketplace, 96, and Cantonese, a blind man could have got $3. We put it up 5 to 4, 5 to 4 to $2.25, out to $3, back into $2.80, back out to $3 at the death. And Kukurai, it went up $2.80. It got out to $3. It started the Avery at $2.80. And Tenby Lady, it was backed $6.50, plenty of it early, only started $5. Number 2, Eliza Blues was $26. What Watertight was $26 into about 17, and Bono Vox, it was $12 out to 14. Cantonese sat outside Tenby Lady. Tenby Lady was in the quicksand. It was gone before the turn. Cantonese looked like it was going to be beaten by Kukrai when they turned for home, but it's still going well. This horse Cantonese has been up. Cantonese been up for a good while, and it fought on, got away from Kukrai at the finish to beat it by 2.8 lengths. Race 3 on the screen. Oh, I bet you the poor robots and the corporates were blowing up here. 93.5 on the screen. There was 1.5 less in the marketplace. We gave 92. Now in cahoots, number 1, we put it up $2.10. 10 to 9 the field in cahoots, and it started $3.30. Now it was, the only way you could lay it was give any punter a ticket and let them fill it in for themselves, but they didn't even bother. They knew it couldn't win. Throw it on the ground. The favourite, it didn't start favourite. It went up favourite, but the opening second favourite was Assail. It went up $3.80, and it was $3.80 into $2.80. And down the bottom, the only other runner backed, Raffinato, it was $6. I gave $8. It only started $5. We bet 92%. I won't go through the others. Jumping straight to the front was in cahoots, but didn't stay there long because the winner, Assail, said, no, I'll get around you. It looked like a bit of a rabbit in cahoots. It got around it and stayed on the fence, this winner, Assail, when he crossed, ridden by A. Allen. So its run was better than it looks. By the same token, these 2-year-olds, I think they're a very, they all seem to be, well, half of them were pit ponies, and it stayed close to the fence, Assail, as I say, so its win was better than it looked. Once it crossed in cahoots got to the outside of it, but it couldn't get past Assail, and it failed by 1 length, and making up a lot of ground. The run quizzed by the Stites, Chile prediction, came from well back in the field. That was about the race. Figures were hopeless, and the bookies got stripped. Race 4 on the screen, 100.7 in the marketplace, 95. Now this was won by Soros, and this very, very talented rider, Jovial Josh Parr, he settled. He missed the kick slightly from the outside alley, and settled back in last position. And coming down the side, he took off and got around the field very easily. And when he found the lead, he was too clever to go near the fence. He stayed 4 off, turning for home, and it was full bore on the turn, but the others were full bore chasing it, and it held its advantage down to the post to win by 1 3/4 lengths from Perfect, who had a good run midfield off the fence, and running third was I Think I Do, who was always handy up near the lead. The leader, Nat King Chew, who pulled up, it could have, there was a small trickle of blood, but it stayed on the fence and also ran into the wind. So his run wasn't as bad as it looked. Iggy Pop was the second favourite. It sat well back in the field, had every possible chance, and it only plugged. Betting wise, as I say, only 95%. Now this favourite, we only put it up 5 to 4, 225. We'll have you, not have you, it's 5 to 4 the field, Soros, and bookie said, oh no, we'll reach for this. How will it win, Soros? 2 to 1, $3 Soros, whatever you wanted, and at the finish it was $3 taken, $2.90, $2.80, $2.70, and they were just about to take the $2.60, and unfortunately the starter said they're racing, and unfortunately the bookies couldn't lay it at the $2.60. But if he wouldn't have said we're racing and held them up for another 30 seconds, the pros would have said, well, we'll have you 13 to 8, we'll take you $2.60 for whatever you want. Luckily the starter said go, and it started $2.60 hard to get. At one stage, Iggy Pop, it was $4.20 into $3.80. Started $4.20 on my board, and as I say, it was a bit disappointing. The winner was the best run in the race. We won't go into the other figures. It'll send you crazy. Not only you, but it'll send me crazy. The next race, race 5, 103.3 in the marketplace. It was fat. 99 we got to, 99. This was for the 3-year-olds. And winning the race, oh, it was a result for the captains. Harada Bay, we can give you 99 and still get a result, and they did too. The winner, Harada Bay, was perfectly ridden by the perfectly balanced Rodney Quinn. What a rider this boy is. And he sat back in third last position, off the fence, got eased off their heels turning for home, and it was too strong. And Mark Sheen commented when they hit the line that it was a certainty beaten at Gosford. I don't know about a certainty beaten. We all know it got into trouble at Gosford, should have finished closer. Don't think it would have won at Gosford, but as I say, would have won closer. The reason it won today, it was in the best section of the ground. Now, there was a favourite in this race. Of course, there's a favourite in every race, but some of them have got names, and this one didn't have a name. Its name was Specific Choice, and as I say, it didn't have a name. It opened up evens. Evening money on the field will have Specific Choice. And what happened at the finish? 9-4, $3.30 Specific Choice. And you could go coo-wee, and there wasn't a punter in sight. They said, no, it's gone. It's fly blown Specific Choice. We know it can't win. You couldn't give it away. Emblems, it was second pick. It went disgraceful. It sat in behind the lead. It was $4.20 into $3.80, back to $4, back out to back into $3.80 towards the death. What was backed in this race? The bottom one was 50s into 20s, and that was about it. You had to have the top one. They took $9. It started 8. As I say, the winner got a result, but the favourite was extremely hard to lay in that race. In race 6, there was 101.4 on the screen. Isn't that wonderful? But in the marketplace, there was only 91%. This is what we gave. Line Cub, it was 40s to 40s. Leviosa, it was 7-2 out to $6, $4.40 out to $6. River of Salvation, it was $13 out to $14 or $15. Pentasia went up $3 favourite. Bookies reached for it, got it to $4.40. Only started $3.80. No, I tell a lie. I was $4 when they jumped. Trillione went up $7. I was into $5.50 at one stage. I was $6.50 when they jumped. Holy moly, the winner. Well, isn't this a wonderful thing? Holy moly. Well, it went up $12, got to 13, but it only started $10. Very well backed. The next runner, Zarberfloat, made sure I didn't miss it. It went up $4.40, got to $6.50, Zarberfloat, into $5.50, but it started 6 on my board. And the bottom one, Babel, extremely well backed, $13 given early, and it only started $7, very hard to get, had every possible chance. The winner, it sat in behind, it was on the inside of actually Barbell, and when they turned for home, the leader in this race, Trillione, it was racing off the fence with Pentasia on its outside. Pentasia gave it the lead early and then got to its outside, and when they swung for home, those two runners were well off the fence. And riding the winner was Father Schofield, and he had no alternative but to go back inside the two leaders because of Babel on its outside, and he got to the inside of those two runners, and he just got there and beat Pentasia on the line, and coming from back in the field and around heels, wideish in the straight, was Zarberfloat. The margins were 0.2 by 0.3, and Barbell ran fourth. What was I going to say? The winner, the figures were hopeless, only gave 91, and if you gave 13, 12 and 11 taken, the winner, you could easily, if not lose on the race. Now race 7, Dr. Devon, on the screen, sorry about this, you poor robots, we only could offer you 98.7 on the screen, but in the marketplace, like to drag you all down where we are in the marketplace, you'd go home without, not only with you, it wouldn't leave you with a sand shoe. 92% we gave in the marketplace, playing to an empty house, and the winner, brightest, at one stage it was it went up $9, got out to 11, and it was into $9, even $8.50 at one stage, but it got back out to $9 and even $10 again at the death, and again ridden by perfectly balanced Rodney Quinn. It sat back in about third last position, and its second up record is fairly good, brightest, and its run last up was better than it looked, and it got into the best section of the track, as I say, and it was able to hold off Rose of Scotland, who was inside it and behind it in the run, and it came through the middle of runners, and down the outside coming from last was For a Rainy Day. So they came from well back in the field, again emphasising how the inside was no good and the outside was by far the best. It was a good ride, Berra Miller. It had barrier 10, was very well backed, Berra Miller. It went from $5 out to $6. I'm glad I wasn't on it, and I'm glad I stood it. I didn't think it was in the race anyway, but I was glad to see what Father Schofield did. It was wonderful. He had the outside alley. I suppose that's why it firmed up in the betting. It started clear favourite. They might have returned at $4. You could get $4 on the fence when they jumped. It went up 5, got to $6.50, Berra Miller, but it only started $4.40, as I say, and I think they only returned at 4. And I thought he might, for some strange reason, Berra Miller had the outside alley. When they jumped, it was eased straight across the back of the field and found the 18 pence, and he tried to rail up. I think he did say to the stewards, Father Schofield, that he thought the fence was inferior. Well, I don't know whether he most probably more thought the outside fence. That's right. He most probably thought the outside fence was inferior, not the inside. He got it mixed up. I was glad to see it happen, because I don't think it's worth threepence, Berra Miller, but when it crossed to go to the fence, the cash, the section I got out of it, I was pretty confident of keeping, and that's about all I would say in the race. As I say, we only gave 92%, and then come the last, well, this was a result for the captains. It was picking up here. On the screen, it was 104.8. In the marketplace, a skinny 95%. This is what they were. Don't worry about what you see on that filthy screen. Shamandi, it was $12 to $15. Privately, now you're not going to believe it, it went up $7. $7.50 was given. It started $5.50, very hard to get. A Real Prince, it went up $4 favourite, got to $4.40, back into $3.70. They only returned at $3.50. I was $4 when they jumped. You could have backed it to win 10 with me at that price. Lee Esprit, well, it was hard to lay. It went from $6.50 to $7.50. The winner, Raining, there was a little bit of cash for Raining. It only went up $31, got to 51, back into 41. It's trained by the Cups King now, Bart, and it settled down in last position, ridden by Calf, Killer Calf that is, and didn't she think Killer Calf killed the poor old Grumble and Grunters in the last? And Carrots and Bananas used to train this horse, and it was having its first start for Bart. Had a couple of trials. I think, I don't know whether they liked it or not, but it did firm in the betting. Brown Doubt, owned by my beautiful daughter, Sally, it went from $7.50 out to $8.50. It was deja vu how it got beat at Warwick Farm last start, when it swung wide, ridden by Horseman Bowman that day, and getting up inside it exactly like today and beating it on the line was, I forget who beat it that day. That was Scratch Today. Green Tracer, that's right. Green Tracer beat it, who was scratched out of this race. It beat it last start, and the same thing happened today with, unfortunately, the 40 to 1 chance raining getting up on the inside. Both of them came from last and second last, emphasising again how bad the fence was. And they swooped, and the winner was able to get up inside Brown Doubt in the last bit and beat it by 0.2 of a length. Now we got down to it, Brown Doubt, $7.50 out to $8.50, and then we got to Missile. It didn't have a price. It went from $7 out to $11. The next runner was very well backed. Randall went up $15, got out to $19, only started $11, hard to get. Green Tracer was scratched. Our Avalanche went from 31 to 51. Via Facile went from $26 out to 41, back into 31. The next runner, Glenstill Abbey, how was it going to win? I was $15 when they jumped. It was $8 out, $8 or $9 out to $15. And Paramount Pete went from 40 out to 60. But we only gave 95. But the brave captains who worked on it, and they said, yes, we'll give you 95 and test you whether you can find a winner. And they got the cash. It came through the comic cuts and got the through the high diddle diddle, the 40 to 1 chance, 50 to 1 given, raining, and got the money and got the captains something out of the wreck, or hope the captains got out. It was a tough day out there today. It's about all I'd say. The track betting is becoming worse and worse every single day. Don't know what's going to happen. No good complaining. We have got to do our best. Good evening.